Hello and welcome to episode 10 of our Imperial campaign. In the last episode, we managed to retake all of these planets here in the core worlds, as well as finally push down south once again. And I think a major component of that is finally having a defensive fleet and an offensive fleet. So now that we can focus on defending the core worlds with that defensive fleet, while we can also still be attacking with our offensive fleet. So with that being said, let's go ahead and I guess we're going to go after Ordo Plutonia. And I do have a pretty big fleet here, so we do have to be wary of that, but I don't think it'll be too big of a challenge for us. Let's put a raider up in the Pathfinder spot. Oh yeah, I do need to ask that. That's a good question. Alright, the Holoquan, we have succeeded this mission. The Emperor assigned additional troops under your command to protect the new production facilities. One AT-AT company. Now that's actually the first time I've ever really built one of these regular AT-AT companies, but somebody in the comment section... Let's put my guys over Kurita, because I need to figure out what I want to do with Kurita. One of the guys in the comment section said that regular AT-ATs are pretty good against infantry, so I don't know if that's true or not. We definitely need to test that out, but I wonder if that's true. Over here, let's get some Interceptor Gazantes. Now, I was looking for, obviously in the last episode, I was looking to build a level 3 barracks somewhere. And Core Lag, I'm pretty sure, is the only place that I can build another elite barracks, which is absolutely astonishing, to be honest. So instead of... Yeah, we have a terrible power generator spot. Let's just go ahead and actually sell both of these. We'll sell that as well. And let's get a barracks going here. We'll get an Imperial prison going here, as well as an Governor's Palace to make some money. And then with 20,000 credits... I'm going to go ahead and invest into a level 2 outpost here, as well as our third and final technology for frigates and cruisers. Now that's actually the final technology that we have, period, for the Empire, both ground and space. So I'm excited to have maxed out technology. And with that, we have the Battle of Ordo Plutonia coming in. I don't know if they'll have a space station here. They just recently took this planet back. No, I don't think we ever took this from them. But hopefully we'll be able to sweep in here and then take out the rest of these Black Sun planets. That's going to be the focus of this and the next video.
Awaiting command.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have a space station. Let's go ahead and move you over here. Dang, Raiders are pretty good Pathfinder units. They'll probably be the Pathfinders for the rest of this campaign, if I'm being honest. Alright, we have 2 regular ISD-2s.
Order confirmed.
We'll go ahead and put you like that, and then you right here. Let's put Vader in here somewhere. Kind of back you up a little bit. Let's get some Vindicators in here. Put Gladiators here, and then Gladiators here. One of those, one of those. And they're retreating. That's not ideal. I would have liked to attack them on this planet. That would have been the perfect planet to attack them with. I'm not sure why I didn't bring in my interdictor. That was a bit of a blunder right there. Alright, we'll just go ahead and engage them on the ground. Send him over to scout Rodeo.
You just got yourself some credits.
Probably should have built a space station there. Let's get another space station on at Zeri. That'd be good if we can hold off the enemy there. And yeah, that fleet looks good. I think this next ISD-2 is going to go over with our main attacking fleet. And with that, let's go ahead and engage the ground forces of Ordo Plutonia. Alright, doesn't look like they have any sort of base of operations here. Let's go ahead and move you guys forward up to here. Quickly get them going. Oh, they got a bunch of units. Man, those things are tanky. I was playing by myself just to get some like screenshots for thumbnails and such. And they attacked one of my planets that had like a level 3 space or a level 3 ground outpost on it. So I was like, I'm just gonna defend this and see what happens. And it was actually a really, really fun battle. Well, look how small this landing zone is. Can't even get this thing on the map. There we go. I see a lot of units that look very juicy for some AT-ATs to come in. Let's get a sensor node here, and we are actually out of money. Let's get some AT-STs pushing forward. AT-ATs. This is going to be really nice. Having 2 AT-ATs right here. I think what I want to do also is get some defenses going up. So what do y'all think? Do y'all consider it being worth it to stack defenses on a planet? So like say Corita, for example. Corita gets attacked a lot. Do you think it's worth it to build, you know, whether it's a space and you're building a maxed out space station and a whole bunch of space defenses, like for the Empire, for example, you have your golden platforms and your whatever those space stations are called that like move around and provide garrisons. Do y'all think that's worth it? And then like on the ground side, you have your oh jeez, they got a lot of stuff coming up. On the ground side, you have your shield generators, your power generators, your turbo lasers, stuff like that. Do y'all think that's worth it to bring in? Because part of me is like, I don't necessarily think it's worth it, especially if you're not particularly great at the game. Like, I'm not necessarily really good at this game. I know what I'm talking about, and I know how to play the game very well, but I wouldn't say, especially since I, you know, am very involved with the community of this game, there are some people that are very, very good at this game, and I am not up to par with those guys. But I still do think that I am pretty decent at this game, but I feel like, the better you are at the game, the more worth it those defenses become. Simply because, you know, you're able to get more out of them. If you build... So the most important thing about if you were to build defenses, I don't think it's necessarily always crucial that you keep those defenses alive. Say you build a shield generator and you lose that shield generator, but you manage to win the battle. I think overall that's a plus. I think that overall is a good thing, as long as you win the battle. But if you were to lose the battle, at that point I think that the defenses are no longer worth it. Because then you're going to have to, not only are you going to have to rebuild those defenses, which cost you a lot of credits, but most importantly, you have to retake the entire planet, which is very, very difficult to do. They have... Oh, it's just the walls. I think that, most importantly, the best... What do y'all think is the best defense in the game, okay? You got your turbo lasers, you got your shield generators, you have your defensive platforms, whether it's Golands or XQ3s, whatever you want to call them. What do you think is the most important defense? I think the best defense in this game might be controversial. I don't think so, honestly. I think it's pretty clear, in my opinion. Is hypervelocity guns, ion cannons, and ground planetary turbo lasers. For some reason, in my opinion, I think those are by far the most important defenses, because you can use them in more than one battle, and it's easier to do that than other units. So if you have your turbo lasers, or a shield generator per se, it's pretty hard to win, not necessarily to win the battle, but it can be pretty hard to keep them alive. But I feel like, especially if you have a defensive fleet... What is getting destroyed so much over here? A bunch of ATSDs. I feel like once you have a defensive fleet that can quickly respond to enemy fights, then it's really, really worth it to bring in ground planetary turbo lasers or ion cannons on your different planets. Because if they were to attack your planet and all you have is your space station and your turbo laser, you're not going to win that battle, most likely. But with that turbo laser, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage. And then take the next fight, for example. Because you have that defensive fleet, you can quickly bring up your defensive fleet. And what is that? Oh, please don't let him get away. So let's show it, for example, right? We have a ground planetary turbo laser on Cato Nemoidia. I only have a level 1 space station here. So if they attack this planet, because I have this, we're going to be able to destroy more than one ship. You know, usually with a garrison, you can kill 1, 2, 3 ships, depending on your skill level, right? But for me, I'm not super great. So let's say I killed a dreadnought and a few fighter squadrons. But with the ground planetary turbo laser, I'm able to kill 3 dreadnoughts and a bunch more fighter squadrons. And because now I have a defensive fleet, my defensive fleet might be able to get here before the ground troops do. So once the fleet gets back here before the ground troops do, I now have this ground planetary turbo laser in that offensive battle this time. So let's say they have a bunch of MC-80s. Normally I would take some decent casualties going up against a big fleet like that. But because I have a hypervelocity gun, I'm able to take way less casualties because you're able to kill so many more ships more quickly with the ground planetary turbolaser. And that is reciprocated with ion cannons and turbolasers, whatever those things are called. Hypervelocity guns, that's the one. Ooh. Too bad I don't have one here. This is not that big of a fleet. I wonder if I caught these guys out. This should be an easy battle. But yeah, I think the best defense in the game is ground planetary turbolasers. The only problem is you have to beat the enemy force, the enemy ground force to the planet in order to get multiple battles out of it. So say you're too late to get your ground forces there, they're going to quickly destroy, that ground planetary turbolaser because it doesn't defend itself on the ground. It has no defensive capabilities on the ground. Oh, I'm broke. Frick. Yeah, that works.
Station ready.
Actually, do I want this? Nah, we'll be alright. Let's get some TIE spiders going up. Let's get some TIE bombers going up. Later, you can come over here. Ooh, you need to get out of there, soldier. Nice, another gladiator. Ooh, it's a bomber gladiator. That's pretty good. Raiders and XG-1 squadron, please do not be in the front lines. This isn't a horrible formation. You're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Oh crap, I have a thing here.
Coordinates received.
See, that's the argument I think for most defenses that you build, is the more battles they participate in, the more worth it they are. So whether you're building golem platforms or turbolasers with a power generator, if it's able to use itself for more than one battle, then I believe it's pretty worth it, you know. But I think that's definitely the key. No matter what your vote is, no matter which one you think is the best, I think it's pretty clear that it comes down to whether or not whether or not they survive for more than one battle. And my game crashed. Alright, we're picking up pretty much right where we left off. We have a different garrison fleet this time. We have a Victory Star Destroyer rather than a Gazanti. But I'm okay with that. Not a horrible trade-off. A little bit more damage rather than escort ability. That's kind of what that trade-off is. They have a pretty big fleet here, a lot of fighters, but we have a lot of garrison fighters as well. We have a lot of raiders. 1 Lancer, 3 raiders, so we should be able to sweep them up pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and designate our fleet. So group 3, you guys can go ahead and target the hull of this ship. Give me my Punishers. You guys, target the engines. Because the MC-75s are so close range, they just love to, like, charge your fleet. And because we are mostly a Star Destroyer faction, no retreating for you, sir. Because we're mostly a Star Destroyer faction, the AI just loves to just push their MC-75s like right up on them to where some of their turbolasers can't engage at a properly good range. So it's important to make sure that you have your units at the range that you want them to be, and keeping the enemies away from the range that you don't want them to be at. You guys are just cruising right through the middle of this battle. If you can survive, I will be eternally grateful. Let's get a couple more bomber squadrons to help out the Punishers, because they're doing exactly what I said they were going to do and pushing their daggum units too far. Let's keep targeting these holes. If we can manage to take out these 2 MC-75s, we'll take out the rest of their fleet pretty easily. This boy Afyon is getting destroyed right now. What are you shooting at? Gun booster firepower. Ooh, we actually bring stuff in. Oh, we have a whole Venator and a Victory ready to go. Alright, you guys can go ahead and retarget the hull. And then we're pretty much good to go. Alright, so the second topic, I didn't even really plan on talking about either of these topics, the one we were talking about earlier and this one. But I was kind of looking at what I was thinking about maybe I should talk about in this video, and the first thing that came to my mind, I don't remember why, but Who is your favorite Star Wars character? And that's a great question right there, if I've ever heard one. Let me get group 2. Group 2, why don't you go ahead and focus these guys down. And then on group 3, give me you two guys. You two guys go ahead and target this thing. And group 3, give me the Vindicator and tell the Vindicator to go target this guy as well. Perfect. Right. I don't necessarily have a favorite character. I have a bad time like picking favorites, whether it's like the NFL. I don't really have a favorite team. I just like watching the NFL. And whether it's Star Wars, I don't really have like a favorite character, you know? I would usually give like, okay, I think it's pretty easy and not like a bad thing to have a favorite character per faction, or I mean like, yeah, per faction and per timeline is what I was trying to say, but faction works as well. So per faction, I think Count Dooku is up there. You have to give credit to Count Dooku. He is a really cool character. And I love how he's like, see, I'm sure most of my viewers watch Captain Shack, but he's another YouTuber. He has the argument that Lord Vader is actually not a Sith. Now, I think it's a valid argument. You could say that for sure. Another argument you can have is that Count Dooku is not really a Sith. He's more of a political idealist. That's what actually Mace Windu calls him. And maybe it was Ki-Adi-Mundi. Somebody in episode 2 was like, he would never do that. He's a political idealist, or maybe I can't remember who it was, but one of those guys did that and said that. So I think that's definitely one reason why I would consider Count Dooku not to be really a Sith Lord, but rather more of a political idealist. Same with Darth Vader. I think I would actually say that Darth Vader is closer to being a Sith Lord rather than Count Dooku. I think Count Dooku was just kind of, I think he legitimately didn't like the Jedi Order, and in turn wanted to create like this separatist movement and have his own reign. So it kind of, obviously he kind of went in league with the Sith to get his agenda accomplished, but even in episode 2 when he's trying to convince Obi-Wan to join his side, I think he was trying to convince Obi-Wan to join his side so that he could take on Lord Sidious. So I think that Count Dooku is a really unique character, really fun character, and I loved watching him in the new Tales of the Jedi series. Really cool series to learn a little bit more about what he is all about. They don't have a lot of differences here. It's probably because that one force is still retreating. When you have a force retreat from a planet, or a retreat from a battle, it's actually a lot slower than just simply moving your units. I'm not 100% sure why that is, but I do know it to be true. Yeah, let's get a bunch of smugglers and assassinations. Okay, Battle of Rodeo. So I think for the CIS, one of my favorite characters, Count Dooku. I love General Grievous. In the Clone Wars, he's kind of weak, except for the episodes where they're like, okay, we've been kind of having General Grievous get his butt kicked. Let's throw 2 Jedi into his lair, let him kill one of them off. Or other episodes where is seeing clips of him killing Jedi, but it's never like a named Jedi or something like that. So I think General Grievous is a really cool character. Honestly, I love Star Wars, so I'm kind of considering every character to be cool. I think Savage Opress was a really interesting character. He was like, if you ever like needed to see like a confused and conflicted character for the Sith side of things, without him like betraying the Sith, he just didn't know where his loyalty lied. Savage Opress just didn't really know where to put his loyalty. So I think he was a pretty cool character. Asajj Ventress was a really cool character. Like I said, every character is kind of cool though. I don't really need an Energizer in this fight. Let's get some gladiators going on. How are we doing? Are we getting our butts kicked or what? Bring in a Vindicator and a Vindicator. Probably could have brought those 2 Vindicators down here to take out the Firestar. Might actually go ahead and do that. These 2 Vindicators go over here and target the Firestar. The other ships should be able to just kick butt. You target this ship, and you target this ship. That's kind of like my CIS characters. I think Asajj Ventress is actually a little bit more cool than Savage Opress, probably. Why don't you pull out? You're taking a lot of damage. On the Jedi side of things, growing up, I always loved Anakin Skywalker. I thought he was a really, really cool character. Since then, for some reason, and I don't know why, I've always kind of had a soft spot for Ki-Adi-Mundi, but I was just sitting in my living room with me, Josh, and Ian, and we were just sitting there, and Ian pulled up this video on YouTube. It was just like, basically the title of the video was like, why Ki-Adi-Mundi is a psychopath. And when you look at that video, it's kind of an interesting watch if you want to go watch it. Ki-Adi-Mundi is a freaking psychopath, bro. He is wild. So that was a funny video. But I don't really necessarily always like the Jedi. I mean, they're cool, but for the Republic side of things, I like clones, obviously, most of the clones. I love Jango Fett. I know he's not necessarily on the Republic side, but I think he's one of my all-time favorite characters. I love Boba Fett, and I really wish Jango Fett had more screen time and more playability. I would love to see a show about Jango Fett, because you never see him in Clone Wars, because guess what, he's dead, so you can't see him in Clone Wars. So that's like most like Republic characters and CIS characters, you get to see them in Clone Wars, but not him because he's dead. So I think having him in some sort of like standalone show would be really, really cool. What in the pirate force is going on over here? Alright, you need to push up the help. And you need to push up the help as well. What do they have over here that's like not dying? Man, they've got a lot of fighters. It looks like they might have teched into CIS tech, or IG-88 tech, if I'm being more particular. Which I've heard is pretty common. It seems like most of the time that's what they're teching into. Ooh, we're about to lose these two Vindicators. We already lost one of them. Can I bring in? Yeah, bring in her. She's gonna die, but... Let's get these fighters over here to help. I really like Jango Fett. Really, really cool character. Thinking about it, though, I probably should have thought about this before I started talking about it. I don't really know who Republic-wise I like, you know? Certain clones more than others, maybe? But not particularly anybody special. Let's see. Empire side of things. I think General Veers is a cool character. He doesn't really get a lot of screen time necessarily, but I think he's a pretty cool character. You have Emperor Palpatine is not necessarily my favorite Sith, but I think he's one of the better villains in all of Star Wars. Obviously, not General Grievous, Lord Vader kind of gets that main, oh, he's the real enemy, which is true, especially if you read like comics about him. Why do I keep saying General Grievous? Vader is a really, really cool villain in all of villainry. I think Joker from obviously Batman is kind of the better villain, even more so than my true love of Star Wars. I think Joker is a really, really good villain, but Vader typically gets that tip of the cap to second place. So Vader, I love Vader for the Empire. Veers is a cool character. Obviously, for me, when it comes to the Empire, I've always, like I've said in earlier episodes of this campaign, I love the politics of the Empire. I love that if you want to rise up in ranks, you kind of got to tear down other people. And one of these videos, I'm going to kind of go into detail of what I mean by that, but haven't really done that yet. Probably should do that at some point. Other characters for the Empire. I love the Tarkin Doctrine. That's another subject for another video we should probably talk about. I do think the Tarkin Doctrine is actually really smart when it comes to the success of the Empire. Now, I'm sure people disagree with me, but I do think that's kind of where I sit. I don't really see anybody, though. Yeah, so I guess that's the Empire. Rebellion. My favorite Rebellion character is actually Han Solo. I love charismatic leaders. Now, he's not necessarily wants to be that leader, you know, quote-unquote wants to be that leader. He doesn't volunteer to be that leader, but you know, at the bottom of your heart, he loves being that leader. No matter what movie you're watching, or clip you're watching, he truly does like to be the leader. He's one of those people that says he doesn't, but in reality, you know he does. Perfect. Alright, I can engage this fleet with my... I know I was just talking about the whole hypervelocity gun thing. I'm not gonna fight that battle out. Let's quickly get my troops here. So this is the problem. We're probably not gonna get this battle in time. Ah, I forgot to do this. Darn it, I meant... Frick. When I opened up this episode, or I got off, like, after the last episode, I tried to remind myself to do those missions before I started the episode. Alright, so here's the ground forces. As you can see, like, I had plenty of time to get my space forces over here so that we can get the use out of this ground planetary turbo laser. But I love Han Solo. He's a funny guy, charismatic leader, good warrior. For the Rebels, outside of Han Solo, I'm not sure really what else there is, you know? I guess Han Solo's a really cool character, right? He has his own past, his own backstory through the movie Solo. Although it's not everybody's favorite movie, it is, in my opinion, at least a decent movie. You know, it's a decent watch. You're never going to go wrong with watching the movie. It's kind of the same argument that we had in the last episode about 7, 8, and 9. When it comes to Star Wars movies, it does not meet the standard of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Rogue One. Those are the top 7 Star Wars movies out there. I think Rogue One is actually on par with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The story for it is good. It's good story, great scenes, great battles. Good enough for me. Now, Solo, not so much. It is a decent story. It has... See, the funny part about Solo, in my opinion, the good parts about Solo is it covers the Kessel Run, the famous Kessel Run for Solo, and it also kind of shows a little bit of the backstory of how he got the Millennium Falcon, how he got his relationship with Lando Calrissian, and I think that's a cool part of the movie. And other than that, I'm not 100% sure what else I liked about the movie. I thought the prison scene was a pretty good scene. You know, the droid, I forget the droid's name, but Lando Calrissian's droid, I thought that was actually like a comedic scene where he's like, I'm having a riot and I'm living out my dream. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good scene.
Yes, sir. Right away.
Let's get this raid over here. This is going to be a tough battle. I can tell already this is going to be a hard battle. But I'm excited to see our planetary turbo laser. And I guess that's about it for the Rebels. When it comes to episodes 7, 8, and 9, characters I really like Kylo Ren. Thought he was a really cool character, and they kind of messed up how cool he was because he was kind of weak, obviously. If he wasn't so weak, I think he could have been a really cool character. You really need to get out of there, soldier. For the New Republic, I guess Poe Dameron's kind of cool. Finn's kind of cool. And we were talking about this in the comment section of the last video, since we talked about it in the actual video. Talking about the character development of 7, 8, and 9, and kind of the reasons why I don't like any of the characters, you know, particularly well, is because they didn't really have very good characters in those movies. So we need more firepower to hit this thing, more than just my Vindicator and my ISD-2. You need to stop, sir. Let's have these bomber squadrons just kind of bomb on that dude over there. But yeah, what is your favorite Star Wars character and why? Drop a comment down below. And why are we missing our missiles? Stop missing your missiles. You kill this. Thank you. You. Yeah, I'm gonna lose this Venator. At this point, it's bound to happen. We were gonna lose our Venators eventually. And we're gonna lose a lot in this battle. This fleet is not meant to destroy this enemy fleet. I probably should have engaged this fleet with my other fleet. It's much more suitable for enemy combat. And this IST-2 is just being shelled from a million different bullets, and you can't even pierce the shields of this ship. Oh, brother. This is a rough battle. Can I get my character to go up there and try and rush this thing, or what? Should I try and retreat? They have these things ion stun. Probably from you. I want to use this, but I want to wait till it shields. The planetary turbo laser for the Empire is not necessarily great at taking out shields. It receives like a massive damage drop-off. Yeah, this is a rough battle. That was a good shot from that, though. But we don't have anything to kill these things, man. It says we still have all of our engines. For whatever casualties we take, we're just going to have to suck up. Okay, we lost both the Venator and the ISD-2. Those are some pretty heavy losses, and the Carrack. Oh, we know we kept the Venator, but we lost the Victory. Interesting.
IPV reporting.
And so much for our ground defenses. Just sell those. We're going to have to retake Kate in the morning, which is definitely not fun.
Construction complete.
Alright. Throws a wrench in my plans. I was hoping to save up, maybe for like a Bellator. I guess we could still save up for the Bellator. We're probably just going to have to leave Kate and the Mordia undefended for a really long time. And with that note, let's go ahead and attack Rodeo. And let's use you guys.
Invasion commencing.
So I was thinking about it because in Republic at War, you didn't need to see the ships to fire off your ground planetary turbo laser. So if this was an enemy ship, you could hit the turbo laser and actually hit it. As long as you could like find the ship with your pointer, you could actually fire off your shots. Now that's not something you can do in Awakening Rebellion, which kind of is one of those things that, you know, obviously mods are very different. One mod may have it to where your speeder bikes can capture command post, and in Core Loses mods, which are pretty much the only two decent mods in my opinion. You have Empire Remake mod, I think it's what it's called, but I'm not a huge fan of that mod, to be honest.
Choose your reinforcements.
So what do you guys think is better? Should units like these, your scout troopers, be able to capture command post, or should they not? In Awakening Rebellion, obviously we can capture these command posts, but like I said, in Fall of the Republic and Thrawn's Revenge, you cannot. I personally think that scout troopers absolutely should be able to capture these. Especially for a mod like Awakening Rebellion. Now, in Fall of the Republic, now I don't play Thrawn's Revenge because I have Awakening Rebellion. If I want to play as the Empire of the Rebels, I'm definitely just going to hop on here. This mod is hands down better than Thrawn's Revenge. But I do think it is very important in Awakening Rebellion to be able to capture these, because in Fall of the Republic, they have like sensor arrays on every map, and once they're captured, you can see the entire map. It's not like this mod where sensor arrays are not nearly as strong as they are in vanilla, and they're not on every map, so information is a lot more important. While information is way less important in those mods. Let's just send some ATSDs to help Will out. I want to build that barracks on core lag so we can get some infantry. We have no infantry in this daggone battle, because my one elite barracks is currently training up our raiding force, which I do want to finish that raiding force. I told you to come over here. Let's get some support for the homies. Let's get a artillery just to fire across this thing. Get some more ATSDs. I think once I capture Camino and Rothana, I'll turn those guys into some production facility planets as well, which will greatly help us dish out more and more ground troops as we continue to push forward. Ooh, my footage is... Y'all don't even know that, but my footage is... What do we got? Nothing too important. Let's get these ATSDs going over here. Ooh, my knee hurts. You're playing some futsal on the tennis courts, and it is impossible to stop yourself. And to slow yourself down, you have to like lean heavily on your knees, and it's really, really painful. Alright, swoop bikes. Let's get these two M's. But there's more than just the capturing command post thing, right? And what else is there? There's gotta be more stuff. For some reason I'm blanking on more stuff. Now I feel like an idiot for bringing that conversation up. and not having anything to back it up with. But basically, is not every mod is the same, and I highly recommend checking out other mods. We talked about this in an earlier episode, and I'm really excited for Raven's Revenge to come out. It's going to be a really fun game. What do y'all think about Starkiller? Should Starkiller become canon? I would love to see Starkiller have some sort of show come out where he is like the main character of it, and it brings him into canon. I would love to see that. But see, the problem with Starkiller, and I think the biggest reason why he's not canon right now, is because it's way too overpowered. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I take that back. I do think that Darth Vader should be seen as the biggest villain in Star Wars. He should be the most powerful villain in Star Wars, and I think that's why I really don't like Kenobi, the show. I think it just portrayed Vader as a weakling. How are you going to lose to some guy that's been sitting on a couch for 5 years? Like, why is he so weak? I really hated that about that series. Let's go ahead and just finish this battle with some TIE Strikers. That was my biggest complaint. It's just like, I wanted to see Vader kick some absolute butt, and you don't see that in that series. You see him get absolutely destroyed by some couch potato. And yes, I am currently flaming Obi-Wan Kenobi. Alright, TIE Strikers, go ahead and finish this battle for me. Here's target this thing. Where'd my other AT-AT go? What are you doing over here? Ooh, we lost something actually. That's not good. What we got up here? Some infantry. Let's bring in some air units. I would love to see one more air unit added to the Empire, because right now you only have TIE Fighters and TIE Strikers that aren't considered transports. You have your IDTs, I think is what they're called, IDTs, the transports, but I don't really count those, to be honest. They're not designated for anti-air, or like hitting ground troops and stuff. Boba Fett, let me target you. Thank you. Starkiller would be an interesting concept, because if you were to incorporate him, you have to do it in a TV show. I don't think you could do it in a movie. A movie is too short, right? It would be obviously awesome to have a movie for him, but oh, think about the show capabilities though. You could start the show with him like being trained by Vader. Obviously, if you play through the Force Unleashed 1, he's on that, I guess it was Kashyyyk. So Vader finds him on Kashyyyk, and in the show, you can have like the first episode be his. Ooh, even the first episode, you could actually have it be him as a Jedi Padawan, as the Padawan underneath the Jedi that was killed by Vader on Kashyyyk. That would be a really, really cool concept. And ground forces are split up.
Upgrade complete.
Where's my fleet at? I'm pretty sure where's my fleet at? Oh, I think I brought them. Oh yeah. I need to hit Azimine Station again. That's what it is.
Corruption has been removed.
Alright, corruption. Let's get some corruption removed.
Removing corruption.
Corruption removed. Corruption removed. And you're still building. Perfect. Alright, you guys. Whoops. Whoops. Ever have that problem where you can't seem to zoom in on a planet with your scroll wheel? Just go down here where that button is, and it will work perfectly for you. Over here, we have 46,000 credits, still working on getting our first Bellator. I think would be really, really fun to have. Alright, battle for Veraxio Station. They have a lot of capital ships. It's going to be a tough battle right here. So here's my thought process. First episode can be Starkiller as a youngling and being trained by the Jedi. That would be really, really cool. Second episode would be Vader invading Kashyyyk and obviously taking him captive, and you can have it kind of be around that. The second episode can be around all of that. Third episode is him growing up and how he is getting trained by Vader, and you could also have like a fourth episode where he's still getting trained by Vader, but he's also kind of having to be hidden, right? He was a hidden project away from the Emperor. So you could have like how Vader hid him from the Emperor, right? That would be pretty hard to do, because Vader was a pretty busy man, if I'm not mistaken. So having him always trying to hide something away from the Emperor without him knowing, but him also being such a busy person, that would be a really cool concept. Honestly, I really hope that they somehow, some way, George Lucas sees this video, comes out of retirement, and says, I'm making a video, or I'm making a freaking show for Starkiller. That'd be awesome. So random, but it's kind of how I feel now, because that's a really good idea, I think. If I bring in you, how much space do I have? 10. Yeah. Mathematics, baby. I thought I was done with mathematics since I came to college. I was not, because I'm an accountant. And accountants have to do math. Yes, it is addition and subtraction, and no, it's not difficult math, but understanding what the heck you're doing, that's the difficult part. Attack them. And then, like, episode 5, you could have him still be hidden, and then I think it would be cool if the first season, this is obviously all made up, they'll probably never make a Starkiller show, but the first season could literally be him all kind of playing out Star Wars Force Unleashed 1, where he's still under Vader's control. Excuse me. He's still under Vader's control, and then, like, the second season is him starting to have, excuse me, that conflict that you see in the video games. That'd be so cool. He's such a cool character. But like I said, the biggest reason why he's probably not ever going to make it into canon is just because he's too overpowered. Which, I don't even think that's really that big of a stepping stone. You've already, in my opinion, you've already messed up Vader a little bit too much with making him a little bit too weak. So it's kind of out of the picture to keep Vader as this really strong hero. I guess I shouldn't call him a hero, he's a villain, but still.
Ready for battle.
So I don't think that's necessarily like the biggest hurdle to get over. You can still have it, but I should not have brought in this interdictor. Wow, they do not have any fighters. Let's go and actually... Where are my bombers at? Bombers... Jeez, I need some more bombers this week. No, I did not mean to do that.
What is it?
Alright, that's fine. Group 1. Go ahead and hit off all of these guys. And then Group 2, target these artillery units in the back here. Munificence in this mod and most mods, they are artillery units. You gotta make sure that you kill these guys off. What was I about to say? Darn it, I forgot what I was about to say because I started battling. Let's get some more ties over here to help out. Oh yeah, my friend Ian, he brought up an interesting point. Do you remember when, in episode 3, Obi-Wan got knocked out? It's the beginning of episode 3 while they're still on that one cruiser, that one Providence. Remember when Obi-Wan gets knocked out by... frick, what's his name? Count Dooku, and Palpatine and Anakin are about to escape, and Anakin runs over to Obi-Wan to pick him up, to bring him on the elevator, and let's not let these guys retreat. Whoa, hey, let's not let them retreat. Thank you. Wow, we're actually kicking butt in this fight. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Whose launch bay is gone? No launch bay gone. Kill. You guys take out the Captor.
As you wish, my lord.
We'll destroy them all. Awaiting your orders.
But do you guys remember when... So yeah, he's going to pick... So Anakin's going over to pick up Obi-Wan, and Emperor Palpatine, who obviously we don't know is Emperor Palpatine at that point, he goes, leave him, we have no time, or whatever. And Anakin goes and says this line right here. He says, his fate will be the same as ours. Ian randomly brought this up, and I have no idea why he mentioned this, because it's kind of funny. He goes, it's actually true. They all have the same fate. All three of those characters, Emperor Palpatine, Anakin, and Obi-Wan, all share the same fate. They all die on the Death Star. That's a really interesting thought. I wonder if, you know, once again, George Lucas kind of thought about that when he was making the episode 3. When he was like, we need to include this line. We'll all have the same fate. That's a really interesting thought. Now, the first thing that came to my mind when I thought about it a little bit is, they didn't necessarily share all the same fate, because Obi-Wan dies on the first Death Star, and Anakin and Palpatine both die on the second Death Star. So it's not completely the same fate, but if you can get past that first hurdle, that's actually a really interesting thought. And I've never actually heard anybody say that until Ian showed it to me. So yeah, learn something new every day. I'm assuming most of y'all have never heard that either. This was a clean wipe of the enemy. They have not done a great job of teching into much stuff to help them out in the fleet department. Good to see that my adjudicator, Imperial 2 Star Destroyer, actually managed to survive this fight. After that last fight with the Black Sun, oh, it was the Rebels, over Caden and the Morty, I was beginning to lose faith in my ISD-2 plan. Okay, everything, please kill. Thank you. So yeah, interesting though. Interesting quote. And once again, I want to interview George Lucas to see if he had that in his plans or not.
Constructing.
Alright, we have captured Rodeo. That's good to see. And on that note, this is a little bit of a shorter episode. Most of these are pretty short, to be honest. Ooh, we finally have our raidable planet units ready to go. In the comments, drop a comment on which planet y'all think I should raid.